Good morning. Prep for this video is for Thursday's maths lesson for this week, and we're going to be looking today at symmetrical patterns. So I'm going to go through the learning reminders as normal. It says here, complete symmetrical shapes and patterns across a line of symmetry. Only one half of each pattern is drawn. We are going to draw the other half so that it is entirely symmetrical. What do you think we mean by a line of symmetry, therefore? The clue is I've got the line of symmetry for this design. It's the black line here, and the line of symmetry is the black line here. We've got a horizontal line of symmetry in this case, and a vertical line of symmetry in this place. Now, a line of symmetry is an imaginary line along which we can fold the pattern so that it is exactly the same for both halves. Or we could put a mirror along that line of symmetry. I'm hoping you can see that. Yes, I think you can. So that if we take that mirror away, if I had my pattern drawn out here, it would look exactly like that. So it's a perfect reflection. I'm sure you've done some work like this before. So let's have a look at trying to make these patterns symmetrical. So my line of symmetry is here, and it's basically I need to make sure that any squares on this side are the same distance from the line of symmetry on this side. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, which are exactly against the line of symmetry. So I need to shade in, and you'll obviously be doing this much neater than me, 4 here, so that they are touching the line of symmetry. That is exactly the same. Let's have a look at this one here. So this square has been shaded in, and there is a gap of 1, 2 squares between it and the line of symmetry. So I go onto this side, I count 2, 1, 2, and then I shade in the square here. I haven't done that very neatly, have I? I'll put a cross there so we can see that one. Let's have a go with this one. In fact, let's have a go with this line. So these two, I've already done this one. It's shaded here. I know that there's a blank, then a shaded square, then a blank, and then a shaded square. So let's have a go. We've got shaded square, blank. I need to shade this one in. So that's that one done. Then I need another blank, and I need to shade this one in. Another blank, I need to shade this one in. I'm just going to check that this square is the same distance from our line of symmetry as this one. So I'm going to count. So there are how many squares before this one and the line of symmetry? 1, 2, 3, 4, line of symmetry. 1, 2, 3, 4, shaded square. Perfect. I'm not going to do all of them now, but you can kind of see. Now this pattern, as I said, has the horizontal line of symmetry. It works in the same way. You could even just turn it that way and then you've got back to a vertical line. But you just make sure you count your squares so that they are the same distance from the line of symmetry. So the pattern would be reflected perfectly onto this side. Let's have a look at this one. Complete symmetrical shapes and patterns across a line of symmetry. So these two squares have been shaded here, and they are 1, 2 squares, 1, 2 squares away from our line of symmetry. Let's check this side. 1, 2, yep. 1, 2, yep, we're all good. Let's try this one. So this has 1 square between it and the line of symmetry. So I leave 1 square here, and I shade this one in. And then there is another one on this line, which is 1, 2, 3 squares away from the line of symmetry. So 1, 2, 3 squares away, and then colour next door. And actually I can check that that is correct because I know on this side, there's a gap between my 2 squares that are shaded. And I've got that gap between my 2 shaded squares here too. Okay, so your task today, hopefully you're going to find this one fairly simple, is if you've got a mirror at home that you could use, great, but to be honest, you don't need one. The most important thing that I would say is you need to look at where your lines of symmetry are. So we've got both horizontal and vertical lines here. You will notice on the mild sheet that we have got both horizontal and vertical lines of symmetry, which means you need to make sure that if you're using a mirror, you're putting it, there we go, along that line and along that line. Don't think, yeah, you can just about see that. So you need to make sure it's all symmetrical. Okay, on the hot sheet, it gets trickier again as there are diagonal lines involved. I'm just going to show you an example of a diagonal one. Let's just get that. So that's the pattern that we're looking for completed, because that's what it looks like on the mirror. So if I start with this square here, I know that that point touches the point that I need to shade in. So I'm going to quickly whip it away, and I know it's that one. So I'm going to shade that square in like that. I'm going to just put the mirror back again. Again, I know for these two half squares, they look completed, don't they, in the line of symmetry. So I need to do their other halves. I need to shade those in, there and there. And then finally, I can see that I've got this corner square here is the same in the mirror, I don't know if you can see it, as the square that's shaded right in the corner, and then the one that's directly diagonal to it, which means this one here shaded and this one here shaded. Now this bit gets even trickier, or not this one, sorry, this one, as you've got two diagonal lines of symmetry, so you're going to need to make sure that you are being very careful with those ones. Okay. Again, if you've got a mirror, particularly for the diagonal lines, you should be okay for these ones, but particularly for these ones, that is quite helpful. You can self-mark your answers if you would like to. If you finding it a bit tricky, this is a task you can do with somebody else, so you need a partner for this one. And then there is a check your understanding questions to end the lesson. I hope you enjoy.